In today's episode of The Insect Hunter, we're going to continue looking at my insect collection and some of the awesome insects I've caught over the years. Let's take a look. So let's just go ahead and jump in. If you missed the first episode, that'll pop up right here. We're going to start here with this group. We're going to continue with some true insects and then kind of work our way over through some more beetles in this episode. So we'll start down here. This guy, I love this guy. He's just so cool looking. He's funny, he's goofy, he's weird. He's the man. Let's see who caught this. Oh, my friend Sam, she caught this and we traded it. I never actually got to see one of these in person, but the common name for these that folks will call them often is toad bugs. They just look like little frogs. They're just cute little guys. It's Chalastochoridae. They almost have like little warts and bumpy eyes. They just look like little toads. And they're usually associated with, I think with rivers and other places like that. But anyways, they're just a cute little bug. They just look like little frog bugs. I mean, they're just interesting. I just love those eyes, the way those eyes pop right there. This is the eye here, this little thing on the stalk. They just look like little frog toad things. They're really cool looking guys. Here we have a plant bug. Nothing significant to say about this one. Plant bugs are very common. Right here we have Boxelder bug. Family Rhopalidae. These are not really a significant pest. They just kind of get in people's houses and make people really mad because they're annoying. And they'll just come in huge swarms. But they don't really actually hurt people or cause that much harm. They're just annoying. Okay, here we have some stink bugs. Nothing significant I want to say about them. They stink. Most people, you know, they'll call certain types of beetles stink bugs. But they're not technically stink bugs, the beetles. They're a different group. Right in here, underneath the tree hopper, we have different types of hoppers. We've got the Cicadas, Cercopidae, Cicadelidae, and then we get down to the cicada. Basically, these bugs in different forms are somewhat similar to cicadas, and they're different types of plant hoppers, leaf hoppers, tree hoppers, frog hoppers. The only thing really interesting about them is that some of the juveniles, I think it's on the frog hoppers, they will actually produce like foamy stuff on plants. So they are called spittle bugs, I believe. And then we have a beautiful cicada. A lot of people really hate cicadas, but I like them a lot. I think they're really pretty. This is one that I got from BT Rich. BT represent. Brian traded me this one. But anyways, I like cicadas. I think they're really cool and they're quite interesting. Because some of them can go as larvae for like 13 plus years. They just stay, they can live that long as an insect. Most of the time they're just underground feeding on a tree, and then when the time hits, they come out, you know, once every 13 years or so, which is just awesome in my opinion. This here we have Navidae, which I think is called a damsel bug. It's another predator. Just goes out and hunts other insects. Interesting. Here we've got a Coryxidae. It's a type of water bug. Definitely great at swimming, and they can actually bite. Type of water bug, kind of cool. Here we've got a flat bug. And these live in bark, and they're super flat, and they just kind of are living in bark. I think they're feeding on decaying matter, maybe it's fungus or something. But anyways, they're another type of true bug that live in bark. This one here is super fragile. This is a stilt bug. They have really long legs, long antennae. Just really interesting bugs. Super breaky. I'd never seen them before until I went to Texas, and then I started seeing them here in Idaho. In my hummingbird moth episode, you can see some. This guy deserves a story. This one here is part of the family Pachygronthidae. So we got a ton of insects, me and Brian and some of my other friends, and we just were sorting through them, and we could not figure out what these are, what group they belong to. And it took us probably 5 to 6 hours of work between 3 people just to figure out what group this one belonged to. Probably even more time than that. And so we just did tons of work going through insect keys, trying to figure out what it is. And I mean, we got the extra point for getting one extra family, but was it worth it? I'll let Brian let us know in the comments whether it was or not. This one, in my opinion, is one of the cooler true insects. Yeah, so this is the family Nepidae, and I think they like to call them water scorpions. And the awesome thing about these guys is right here on the back of his abdomen, he has these 2 long little appendages, and he uses that as like a breathing mechanism. So it's like, you know, the people in the water with the using like the sticks or like a pipe or something, they can breathe. So that's what they do. They have this sticking out of the water and they breathe through that tiny little hole, which is just awesome. And then here in the front, they've got claws that they can grab things with and kill with. And then they've also got a beak that they'll stab into things and then feed on them. But anyways, this one, I think we were just running an aquatic net through the water and we got them. And here we have, as everyone should know what this is, a nice, huge toe biter. Very beautiful specimen. This one, I think I already told this story, I can't remember, but anyways, this one just was on my mother-in-law's doorstep. And she found it and she kept it for me, so I'm not going to say whether she attracted it or not or what happened. I'll just get myself in trouble if I say anything else. But anyways, it's got those awesome claws and then it's got that beak that just causes so much pain. I still can remember that pain, and it's still one of the most painful insect encounters I've ever had is getting bitten by one of these, because it's just like having a nail driven into your skin. Just super painful. I mean, my goodness. But this guy is pretty big. Look at his eyes. They're just so alien. Just so creepy. And then look what happened here on the back of it. It's got this little hole in it. See that hole right in there? A dermestid beetle came and started eating into it and ate on the inside out, basically. But it didn't damage the specimen too much, so that's good at least. Anyways, nice. This guy, unlike some of my other ones, I've got these extra pins here in between to kind of hold him in place so he doesn't like twist around. This one here, I think is called a fish fly, or they're closely related to Dobson flies. Very interesting wings. I think I got this one at a black light. I can't remember. But anyways, they're just a beautiful insect. I believe they're a predator. They're associated with rivers. But they're pretty cool looking. This one I got in Texas. I remember that. All right, let's look at some more beetles here. This is a click beetle. The first time I found this, let's see, this might be my oldest specimen. Oh, this one is one of those 8-year-old specimens. But anyways, I found this. I was out on a hike with my dad. We went on a Jeep ride and we went on a hike. And then I was just digging in a rotten log for fun. I was just like, hey, let's dig in this and see if I find anything. And then I saw this huge beetle. I'd never seen something with like those little eye marks or something built quite like this. And I just got really confused. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. This is really cool. So then I collected him, but I was really surprised to see this. I mean, if you've never seen a click beetle before, they're just such an interesting insect. You know, they will take this little spine thing, like these spikes here on the back of their pronotum. That connects with this, and they can actually like bounce themselves and like click and like use their body as like a spring almost. So they're pretty interesting. Here's some different longhorn beetles. Here's 3 or 4 different ones, 5 of them. Just longhorn beetles are just cool in general. I'll show you this one just so you can see the length of those antennae. Pretty long antennae, which is quite interesting. Pretty cool. A lot of people are intimidated by them just because those antennae look kind of Scary. Here we've got just a couple ground beetles, Crabidae. This one I'll show to you. This beetle, I'm trying to remember the name, can spray like acid type stuff out of it, so they're really cool. I remember catching this guy and luckily he didn't spray me. Kind of a cool beetle. The name of this one is, I believe, a bombardier beetle. So they're pretty cool. Moving our way over this way, we have these water beetles, which are Dytiscidae. They're diving beetles. And they actually will trap bubbles on their abdomen, just on the very back of them, like right in there, they'll trap a bubble that they carry around with little hairs. Little hairs trap bubbles so they can carry around bubbles with them to breathe longer underwater. I don't know why this guy was clear over here, but here's another one of a much larger species. Pretty interesting. This is one of the best beetles that I caught to keep as a pet and is in my removing mites episode. But anyways, I love best beetles. They're awesome. They have that tiny little horn in the front, which is just so cool. And they make really good pets. They make lots of squeaking noises, and they're pretty easy to take care of, but they're just an awesome beetle. I love best beetles. Pretty fun. Putting extra pins like this can help keep them from rotating around, because sometimes when you move the box, they'll want to kind of move. I don't want that to happen. Okay, we've jumped way out of order, but let's come back here to some of these beetles and work our way back, and then we'll start talking about the flies. Here is another Staphylinidae. I think part of the reason why I have multiples of the same one is just because this is like 2 classes worth of collections. I did them for one class, then I did them again, so there's kind of some repeats. But anyways, this is a bigger Staphylinidae. And this one is not, but it looks a lot like, I think they're called the Devil's Coachman. And those can actually be aggressive or kind of scary to people, even though they're not that harmful. But anyways, a bigger staphyliniid beetle for sure. Hemiptera, this is another type of aquatic beetle. These ones, I think you just pull out the moss in Texas and you'd see them all over. Just a really tiny little aquatic beetle. Nothing that significant about it though. Here's a Gyrinidae, which are, I think they're called like whirligig beetles. And they'll spin around, they spin their entire body, like just whirling around. So like when they're swimming, this is what they look like. They're just really funny. Here's another jewel beetle, just a really small one. Here's another type of water beetle. I don't think this one actually swims, maybe it does a little bit. But it's a different group of water beetles. Hydrophilidae. Can't remember exactly what the difference is. I think one of them is Adiphaga and one of them is Polyphaga. Has to do with the way that their back legs are built, from what I remember. Erytilidae, this is, I think these are some sort of fungus beetle or something like that. I can't remember. Got a pretty orange and black color. Here's a Meloidae, which is a blister beetle. Kind of cool. I think they produce some different chemicals too that can cause some reactions in people and not good to be consumed by livestock and things like that. So if you get them in your hay or something, they can be bad. Here's an ironclad beetle, which have some of the thickest, strongest exoskeleton out of all insects. They're pretty awesome. I just like them too. They're like tanks. And then we have a dermestid beetle on display, and the dermestid beetle larvae did not feed on it, so it's kind of ironic they did not feed on it. Out of all the carcasses they could have eaten, they could have come and fed on their own. They didn't. And the last beetle I'll show you guys, which I've talked about these before, is a burying beetle. And I totally love these guys. They'll go out and they'll bury like mice or birds or things. They dig a hole and then they bury them in the ground, and then they'll feed on them with their babies over weeks and months. They're really cool. But look at his Look at his antennae with those little orange. So we're just about wrapped up looking at this collection. In the next episode we'll do that, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can check that out. If you enjoyed the video, like this video and leave me a comment, and stay tuned next time where big adventures start small. Thanks for watching.